The least exciting part of owning an aquarium is dealing with the routine maintenance. But knowing how to clean a fish tank or bowl will save you time and money in the long run. A well-maintained tank is usually a healthier one that suffers from fewer problems. It's a lot easier to clean your tank than you might think, and it doesn't take any special skills or expensive equipment, either. In this DIY tutorial, I'll show you step by step how to clean an active aquarium of any size. Common questions about aquarium cleaning. Before I dig into the details and toss out lists of the equipment you'll need, let's take a second to discuss why routine cleaning is so important to the health of your tank and the species inside it. Why do we clean aquariums? The most important step of your tank maintenance routine is doing regular water changes. Since an aquarium is a closed system, fish waste and other debris accumulate in the water. If you don't remove and replace some of the water in your tank at regular intervals, these debris break down and poison your tank. A filter can help remove physical debris and neutralize toxins to a limited extent. But they can only give you extra time between water changes and don't replace regular maintenance. You'll still have to keep up on your algae removal, maintain your filter and know how to clean fish tank gravel as well. What does it mean to clean an aquarium? Cleaning is a rather broad term and encompasses a lot of different tasks when it comes to maintaining an aquarium. I tend to speak of specific actions, like doing a water change or vacuuming the gravel over using the term clean. When you clean your aquarium, you'll do a partial water change at the very least. Depending on the conditions in your tank, you may also need to change the filter pad and/or filter media, vacuum the gravel or remove any algae growing on the tank sides or decor. But don't take the cleaning too far. You can actually cause a tank to crash like a new tank if you clean it too thoroughly. You'll also want to clean the outside surfaces. Once a month you'll want to polish your glass or plastic tank and dust off the aquarium hood, lighting fixtures and any equipment tubing or cords running into your setup. How often should you clean your tank? Unfortunately, there's a lot of variables involved. I can't give you a hard and fast answer. You'll have to work out a schedule for your tank based on its unique characteristics. The frequency of aquarium water changes and cleaning depend on the size of your tank and the type and density of the inhabitants, whether you're using a filtration system and what type of filter you have, the location of your setup and how much light the tank receives in general. You'll need to do water changes and clean your tank at least once a month for larger setups and as often as several times a week for smaller ones. Here are some guidelines. Tank size. Fish bowl under 5 gallons. Fish bowl under 5 gallons. 5 to 10 gallons. 5 to 10 gallons. Over 10 gallons. Over 10 gallons. Other cleaning and maintenance is needed weekly or bi-monthly. How much water to swap for a routine water change? Routine water changes usually involve removing and replacing a small percentage of the water in your tank. 10% to 25% is a typical amount to replace, but if your aquarium is especially dirty, a 30% to 50% change may be needed. I don't recommend changing more than 50% every 24 hours to avoid stressing your fish. If you have problems with a foggy fish tank or an extreme algae or cyanobacteria outbreak that isn't helped by routine water changes, you'll want to assess your equipment and water quality, and possibly seek professional advice. Do you have to remove fish to clean a tank? No. You don't have to remove your fish from the tank to clean it. If you have a very small fish bowl, it may be helpful to put your fish in another container for cleaning, but I'll teach you a method below that's even easier. For larger tanks over 5 gallons, you shouldn't worry about removing them. You'll clean around them instead. How to clean aquarium rocks and decor. Occasionally, you may find it easier to take out an algae-encrusted rock or decoration and give it a scrub down with a pad and plain tap water. If this is a constant problem, however, you should consider adding algae-eating aquarium species like snails or freshwater shrimp, or reduce the amount of light your tank receives. Special considerations. This tutorial is primarily aimed at fish keepers with existing freshwater setups rather than those setting up new tanks, problem tanks or maintaining 500-gallon saltwater reef tanks. I recommend seeking out detailed advice for your particular situation, but I'll touch on them briefly here. New aquariums. New setups can be a bit frustrating, as it takes time for your aquarium substrate to settle and your tank to cycle, so you avoid new tank syndrome. This is a whole topic in and of itself. You shouldn't add fish to a new tank right away, although the amount of time you'll need to wait depends on the size of the tank, the type of substrate and the heating and filtration systems. It takes time for healthy aquarium bacteria to establish themselves in your tank, and you may need to do extra water changes too. Little happy boy holding a plastic bag with new fishes he bought at the zoo store for his homeroom aquarium feeding and taking care of pets. I recommend waiting at least a few days and then adding new fish gradually over the course of a month rather than adding a lot of fish at once. How to kill algae in aquariums. Most tanks will eventually see some algae growth. Algae takes advantage of the light and the nutrients from the fish waste to spread. Regular water changes should keep its growth under control, so you don't need to work to eliminate it entirely. If you have algae-eating aquatic species, you'll need some algae to feed them. If you have a problem with algae that water changes and algae eaters can't control, try moving the tank out of direct sunlight and reducing the amount of light it receives. You can also manually remove the algae from the sides of your tank with a special glass or plastic safe scrubbing pad or magnetic aquarium scraper. I keep these on hand to remove excess algae from my tank during my monthly maintenance routine. How to clean a plastic fish tank. Male hand cleaning aquarium using magnetic cleaner. Aquariums are most commonly made from glass, plexiglass or plastic. Be sure that any scrubbers or gravel vacuums you have are safe with your type of tank. This isn't really a problem with gravel vacs, since they are usually plastic themselves. But a scrubber made for a glass tank could scratch a plastic aquarium, so be careful. Other than trying to avoid scratches on your tank, cleaning a plastic tank is just like cleaning a glass one. Never use bleach, soap or other cleaners on any type of aquarium or decor, plastic or glass. Plastics and the silicone sealant used in glass tanks may absorb the cleaner and release it into your water, which can be toxic. Hard water aquariums and saltwater fish tanks. In most ways, changing the water in a saltwater tank is similar to a freshwater setup. You'll use the same equipment to remove and replace water. But you'll also be managing salinity levels in a saltwater aquarium, and dealing with something called salt creep. Salt creep on aquarium. Salt creep happens when the water evaporates from your saltwater tank. As the water splashes out of your chiller or filter, it creates a mist of salt spray that can dry and encrust your equipment. If not regularly removed, the salt will build up and corrode or damage your lighting fixtures and other equipment. This problem is also common for freshwater aquariums in areas with very hard water. The minerals in the water act a lot like salt, and form a crust on your tank and equipment. You have to gently scrape the salt or minerals away while you do your regular routine maintenance. I hope you learned something in this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe button for my next upload. Thank you for watching.